Hey, welcome back to the Good Buzzer Track and Field Talk. I apologize for the lack in content. I've been really busy working at the Jungle Movement Academy and I've lost my voice, but I'm going to do the best I can. Today I want to talk about, in my opinion, the most exciting race in the world, which is the 800 meter. I'm a little bit biased because I was an 800 meter runner in high school and college. Let's dig right into it. So I want to talk about the likelihood of whether or not the prestigious 800 meter world record from David Rudisha is going to be broken in the near future. So let me break this down. Yes, I do believe that it is going to be broken in the near future. Between Wanyonyi, Arop, and Sedjati, they have gotten just incredibly close to the world record. If you followed any bit of track and field last year leading up to the Olympics with the Diamond League races and the Olympics itself, it was basically like almost every single race, the track and field community, including myself, we were just on the edge of our seat or standing up, cheering as loud as we could for just somebody to break that prestigious world record. I mean, you know, the fact that David Rudisha set the world record to such a ridiculous standard in 2012 just literally blew the minds of all of us in the track and field community. And it's obviously stood for quite a few years now because it's been well over a decade. However, yes, I do believe it's going to be broken, and I guess I wanted to put out my opinion on who I believe is going to break the record, because I kind of feel like the track and field community wants to talk about this because it's just such an exciting event. The 800 is kind of well known as like the hardest event, and that's debatable for sure. Trust me, I know the 400 meter runners and people who love the 400 are probably wanting to crucify me right now for saying that, because I do feel like there's a good back and forth between what is the hardest between the 400 and the 800, and I can admit that it's pretty close. I've done a lot of 400 and 800 meter running. I personally believe that the 800 meter, if you run it properly, which is, you know, a very fast 400 followed by another very fast 400, I do personally believe it's the hardest race. And with that, it is just extremely exciting to watch. It also doesn't take very long. You know, people can say that like something like a 5K might be a little bit boring to watch. I disagree with that. But the 800 at the world-class level takes significantly less than 2 minutes to watch. So it kind of comes and goes pretty quick. Anyways, let's get on with the point. I believe that Marco Arop is going to be the next world record holder. I don't know that world record that he's going to set, from my prediction, is really going to last very long because you have the very young Wanyonyi, who I also believe is going to be a world record holder. However, I do predict that the first person to break the prestigious Rudisha world record is going to be Marco Arop, and here's my reasons why, because I've put some thought into this. He's quite a few years older than Wanyonyi, at approximately 6 years older. I kind of do think that makes a difference, so hear me out on this. You may disagree. Certainly there could be the argument that because he's 26 years old, he's getting too far past his projected window to possibly break the world record. I think that could be a strong argument in about a couple of years from now, but right now he's still in what appears to be very peak form, and I do believe that he's right in that window in the next year or two. In particular this year, I believe he's going to break the world record. I think he's hungry. You know, with Wanyonyi, I'm not saying that he's not hungry. He's super young. He's only 20 years old. He's obviously amazing and hungry as well. But I think with Arop's age getting just a bit older and his gap to be able to break that world record is closing certainly quite a bit quicker than Wanyonyi's. I think he's going to do it this year. I really do. I think he's been close so many times. He's won the gold medal at the World Championships. He's done so well at so many different events, and he's just been so close. You know, we saw the time for the world record get so close between those three athletes that I mentioned. And yeah, I do think that Marco is going to be the one to do it from Canada. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. about that? Do you think that I'm completely off? Do you think that Wanyonyi, because he's the younger athlete and the Olympic gold medalist, do you believe that he's going to be the one to do it? I would just love to hear it. And of course, many people might be like, dude, I don't think either of them are going to be the first person to break the prestigious world record. I'm sure there's people out there that think that Sedjati is going to be the one to do it because he had such an incredible season. He might not have been the Olympic gold medalist or the reigning world champion, but he was undefeated leading up to the Olympics, and he just kept posting all these insane times. He was like breaking meet records all over the place, and he was right in there, just right behind the two others for that fastest time. So he's right in there, and a lot of people might think that he's going to be the one. So either way, regardless of who does it, I think that Arop is going to be the next person to hold the prestigious 800-meter world record. But I want to hear your thoughts. And is it going to be someone completely different? Are we going to see Bryce Hoppel or someone else take this world record unexpectedly? Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to try to keep posting more regularly here at the Good Buzzards Track and Field Talk. So it's been great talking to you guys all. I want this to be like a community effort. Personally, whether I am right or wrong, I always want to drive home the point that I love track and field, and I just want to talk about track and field. I promise you I'm not going to be right probably most of the time in my predictions. I'm just passionate about track and field. I hope that I'm right, at least sometimes, for sure. And I think I do watch a lot of track and field, so some of my predictions might end up being right. But a lot of times I'm going to be wrong, and I think that that's okay. What I want to promote is just a group that loves track and field, and ultimately I want to have a group, a community here that loves track and field so much that we can talk more about both U.S. and global track and field to get it more into the spotlights for the media. I would love the athletes that are competing at the highest levels of track and field to one day be able to earn the type of lifestyle and income that we see with sports like the NFL and the NBA. And I know that might be a stretch. I know you guys might be laughing like that's never going to happen. And you might be right, but I love track and field so much that I want to, in some small way, promote the idea of track and field to get more people into it so that there can be bigger prize money. We have the Grand Slam track. I love what Michael Johnson is doing with the Grand Slam track. I really do. And that hopefully that's just the start of something bigger, and hopefully there will be bigger and better things coming for track and field. So join me in this community, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. We can argue about this, talk about this. I think the great thing is we can talk about these things. I actually would really love to hear who you think is going to break the 800-meter world record, or do you believe that David Rudisha actually set the bar too high, and that even though people have been close, that nobody's going to take it? Let's talk about this, and I'll catch you on the next ones at the Good Buzzards.